Hello again and welcome to another edition of Suds and Country. Hi, I'm Herb Suds and welcome to the show. I'm very happy to say I have Ray Benson with Sleep at the Wheel here. Ray, how you doing?
Very good to be here. How you doing?
Welcome to the show, Ray. 3 decades of keeping a pilot light on for Western Swing. 6 Grammys plus some Grammy nominations. Tell everybody what Western Swing music is.
8 Grammys, but that's all right. I'll correct you whenever you're wrong.
You correct me anytime you want to.
What is Western Swing? It's Western music that swings. You know.
What makes up the Western Swing sound? Country, jazz?
Yeah, and instruments: fiddle, steel guitar, electric guitar, piano, bass, drums, a couple of horns, maybe.
Do you put all this through a blender and it comes out Western Swing?
Yeah.
Pretty much, huh?
That's the idea.
That's the idea. 30 years of it.
Mix it up.
You did an album called Ride with Bob recently. We're talking about, of course, Bob Wills. He's the Elvis Presley of Texas, the king of Western Swing. What's it mean he took race and pop music and brought it to Texas and Oklahoma? We're talking 60 years ago. What's race music and pop music? What was that?
Well, jazz, black music, blues, and jazz, and combined it with the old fiddle tunes and the cowboy music and Jimmy Rogers and stuff, and that's Western Swing. And it was dance music.
That's dance music.
It's got to be dance music.
What does it mean he blurred a lot of lines?
Well, he played dance music, so he'd play a Glenn Miller tune, and then he'd play a Jimmy Rogers tune, and then he'd play a Bob Wills tune, and then he'd play a fiddle breakdown, and then he'd play a big band song, and then he'd play a pop standard of the day. So he did it all. If they could dance to it and he could learn it, he'd play it.
He played it, huh? And Ride with Bob, you blurred some lines too?
Yeah. Hey, why not?
Why not? Good for him, good for you?
It's a lot of fun.
Here it is. Here's the answer you just gave me, the driving force behind Western Swing. There it is. Ride with Bob. Ride with Bob is the CD that I happen to have here. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, let's let them look at it.
Let them take a look at it. There you go.
For those of you standing on your heads, there.
It's a multi-generational tribute to Bob Wills, one of country music's true innovators. You incorporate 3 generations of country artists in this. Why did you go so far back as far as Willie and Merle and Reba, the Dixie Chicks, and even went out of the country circles? Why?
Why? Because I could.
You could.
Yeah, they were all there, and who could turn down Willie Nelson?
No.
And then Don Walser is, I think, the 3rd generation. Yeah. He's the oldest fellow on there, and him and Willie are about the same age, and it's just great, man. This music's timeless and ageless.
Timeless and ageless. And we're talking about country music. We're talking about Bob Wills when you say that.
All music. All music is timeless and ageless.
I think you're right. I think you're right there. What was the purpose of getting the Squirrel Nut? Who had a Squirrel Nut? I never heard of Squirrel Nut Zippers.
But you have now. Now you know.
I play them on the radio.
They're a bunch of kids from Raleigh-Durham area and that do swing music and old-timey music and got a great spirit.
Okay, because I've never heard of them. I don't think I've ever played them on my radio show.
You don't play. They're on MTV and stuff like that.
Okay, they're not country yet, huh?
No, they're not. Well, they're country, but they're not on country radio.
Country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're their own country.
You do the Bob Wills holler?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to do it right now?
Just for the heck. Ah-ha! There you go.
Ah-ha.
Anybody that knows Bob Wills knows that sound. Bob Wills has been described as a unique hybrid of blues, country, Spanish, folk, Dixieland, jazz, in a formal big band setting. Did he invent Western Swing? Like Bill Monroe was credited with the father?
No, he did not invent Western Swing. He was one of the inventors of Western Swing, but there was 100 guys who did. Milton Brown was one of the early guys that was in a band with Bob, but there was dozens of guys. Bob certainly put his stamp on it bigger and larger than anybody else.
Okay. Willie sang with Bob.
Yeah.
And Bob wrote the liner notes for Willie's first album. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like to put little facts like that on the album so people know that there's a great continuity in music.
I read all the paperwork you sent to me.
Thank you.
I picked it right up. You ever meet Bob Wills?
I actually did meet him just before he passed away, but didn't get to do anything but say hello.
Well, you didn't play for him or anything?
No, he had heard our music, though, and he was introduced. He was on that album for the last time, and I was up there in 1973 and met him as he was being wheeled out, and he went to a coma later that night and never awoke.
But but he knows who Sleep at the Wheel is.
Yeah, he knew that we had cut Take Me Back to Tulsa was out as a record, and he knew we had done it, and we had helped him.
You were just starting out, basically, when he passed away.
Yes, our first record. Yeah.
First record, which is...
There you go, coming right at you. Sleep at the Wheel, 1973. It's a good album. If you can find it, it's worth a lot of money, you know.
I got all the props here, don't I? I got all the props,
A
don't
lot
I?
of
Rex?
money. It's too bad it's missing. Oh, sorry.
Here's the man right here that we're
Good
talking
shape
about.
too. Yeah.
You know?
That's me back there.
Where were you?
I was still tall. Always in the back row.
Here's a man that says he's the best damn fiddle player in the world.
This man is the man who brought Bob Wills to myself. Who this
Did he?
album here was how I got into Bob Wills when Merle did this, and me and George Strait. George will tell you the same thing. Was that this was the album that made us as young fellas do Western swing instead of just plain old country music.
I was just gonna say, I was just getting into that
Yeah.
somewhere down the road. What made you
Take
go
care. You
into
can
that?
throw your notes away, pal. We
sure.
don't need these
Yeah.
things. We'll get to it all.
Do you,
Turn me on. It's hard to turn me off. Go ahead.
Let's keep talking here, and we'll see if we can keep you going. You have heir apparent to Mr. Wills. You like that? That
Yeah,
label?
that's an honor.
That's an honor, I
Quite
think.
an honor.
Absolutely
You
an honor.
bet. You know.
When you cut these records, how do you preserve the authenticity of the sounds and the styles?
Well, we try to play in the style that the players played in. And by that I mean, well, first of all, use an upright bass, use a non-pedal steel, a Hawaiian steel. We use the old instruments that they used because they sound different. So you can't. I don't think you can swing as well with an electric bass as you can with an upright bass. I don't think that the steel guitar sounds the same if it's a pedal steel as if it's the real steel that all the great Western swing bands use. As much as I like the pedal steel.
So you use basically the same instruments he's. Why the second album after the first one came out in '93, which is, I got another prop for you here.
That's one of them right there.
you
There
go.
it is, the tribute to Bob Wills. This is hard to find. No, this is. I wasn't
that's
finished.
available.
I wasn't finished, so I did this one right here. So I just basically they're one album. The record companies say you can only have a certain amount of cuts on an album. I said why? They said because we own you. So anyway, that's why there was only that one. There should have been this, and there should be two more of these, which we'll get to later in life.
Wow. Wow, that's all right. I'm looking forward to the
No,
next
really,
two.
I'm not going to do it right away,
What?
but somewhere down the road.
On the first album in '93, you had 3 of the original Playboys on. Are they still around today to play?
Yeah, and they played on this one
Oh,
too.
did they play
Yeah.
on Ride with Bob?
2 of them did, but
Okay.
Eldon passed away. Eldon Chamberlain passed away, the guitar player. So, but Johnny Gimble and Herbie Remington played on both the albums. Herbie being the steel player and Johnny being the fiddler.
Okay. How did the Bob Wills sound become a major influence through Haggard?
Yeah, this album, seriously, when it came
was-
out in 1970, we picked it up and just went and studied it like it was the you know, because this was the guys. They weren't that old. The Playboys and Merle, and anyway, they did it right, and it was the first one done other than the '78. Sometimes on the '78 that we had, we couldn't hear the quality of the. You couldn't hear into the arrangements. This was done with modern, at the time, modern recording sound, so it was a little easier to hear, and so we were able to copy the licks.
Okay, sure.
So anyway, that's how I got into it, and of course we had all the old records of Wills too.
78.
Yeah, because they weren't on albums. This one's a very late one. This Cap record, and that's, as you can see, he's in his 60s there.
Right.
But the early stuff was just on 78, although there were some reissues. But we would dig them out and meet record collectors and give them to us. We did a real, I mean, I've read everything there is to know about Bob Wills.
I bet you did. How old was he when he passed away?
He was 68 or 9. He was not very old, no.
No,
He'd had a couple of heart attacks and a stroke.
I
so-
read that. Cigar Man.
The cigars ain't what did it to
No.
him. I'm afraid it was a liquid refreshment.
Yeah, look, that did it, huh?
And Wild Women, I'm pretty sure.
That part of it, huh? That'll get you. Hey, what role did Western swing play in country and rock and roll?
Well, it was the biggest country music in the early 40s. It changed country music. It was the father of rock and roll, among others. And one of the fathers of rock and roll. It was the first country music to have drums. It was when Bob Wills, Minnie Pearls told me that when Bob Wills came to Nashville in 1940, San Antonio Rose was not only a hit for them, but for Bing Crosby.
Wow.
He was the #1 pop artist of the day.
Yeah.
And Bob was so big, and he came and played the Opry. She said when he left the Opry, every hillbilly singer had a cowboy hat, a pair of cowboy boots, a
kidding.
western bun, wanted a bus. And he set the style for
He set
everybody.
the
He
style,
had drums, he had electric guitars. They
Was he
didn't
the
have
first
that.
one to put drums on the stage at the Opry?
Absolutely, but they made a hide him behind a curtain.
I read
Yeah.
that. He was the one that did it. I
Yeah.
thought it was Hank Thompson, but it
No,
was Bob
Hank
Wills.
came much
Way
later.
later. Yeah. Okay.
But Bob gave, if you listen to early rock and roll, it's a lot of Western swing.
Wow. Interesting. Asleep at the Wheel's been on the road for 30 years. What kind of music did you play before Western Swing?
I played in all kinds of bands from the time I was 11 years old. Folk music, rock and roll, bossa nova, big band, swing. The marching band, I played tuba.
Did you?
If it was music, I wanted to play.
Yeah.
I played
Yeah,
bands
nice.
for Polish-American
Yeah.
war veterans
Yeah.
hall.
Yeah, did it all.
Played
Ray's done it all.
And I ain't done it all yet. I'm
What-
working on it.
How were you different from Pogo, Commander Cody, Marshall Tucker, Charlie Daniels, and all those back in the 60s? How did your music differ?
They were country rock bands, and we were a country and western swing roots band. So we
Okay.
wanted to get back to the roots.
You were swinging back then, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We always
yeah.
played swing music. But we also played Bakersfield music, Cajun music.
Right.
We just like roots music. You know what I mean? We like roots rock and roll. Jerry Lee Lewis, etc.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cash. So we liked anything that was real. I think.
Is that why you kept adding more people and different instruments to your band as you were going
Well, then we
along?
decided we really wanted to be a swing band, and we needed
Okay.
more. That's when about
Twin
1973 and 4. Yeah, we wanted to be a big band, Western swing band, and then so we did that, and we've settled on 7 pieces.
You've come a long way from Lucky Ocean to Leroy Preston, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of 3 guys banging on whatever instruments we had.
That's all, huh? What was the Smithsonian Institute American Archives? You did something for Smithsonian Institute?
We it was 77, I believe. We taped a show at the archive, and they put it in the archives, and I've got a couple things down there. I can't remember what,
Okay.
but we have a performance that they taped, audio performance back in '77. That's just one of the billions of things they got at the Smithsonian, which is a wonderful place.
What's Sleep at the Wheel Day? September 22nd, 95, down in Austin.
I think they let me park anywhere I wanted.
There you go. That'll work. That'll work.
They gave us the key to the
Key to the
city
city,
and the
that
flag that flew over the Capitol.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it's very nice.
And that's every year or just that one day?
No, that was just that
Just
one
that
day.
one
They
day.
couldn't handle it every year. It
No,
was
couldn't
just-
handle Sleep at the Wheel every day down there.
Every year it'd be tough. You know.
You got to Austin through Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Berkeley, California, on your way to Austin. What?
You missed West Virginia.
No, I didn't. I just
Oh,
forgot
there
to
you
read
go.
it. Paul, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
There it is.
That's where we started, Paw Paw, West Virginia.
That's it. And what kind of music do you play around Washington, D.C.? The 60s music?
Oh, no. We were asleep at the wheel. We
swing?
did Hillbilly. We did
Did you?
Johnny Cash, Western Swing, George Jones. We wrote our own stuff, but roots country music. We were never a rock and roll band.
I love your music. I
No,
bring.
I
bring.
thank you.
Yeah,
sir. You guys got everything we've done, and the good Bob Wills.
There you go. That's that's
That's a
always
good
with
one.
me every week. I always bring one of these two with me usually.
That's great.
And until these two came out, I brought these.
That's a good one.
You know, greatest hits.
Yeah.
Beat Me Daddy 8 to the Bar, the last
Now we're
one
putting
on
out
there.
a new one. We're putting out a new one.
I gotta get it.
A greatest hits one. We're going to record
Okay.
all of the ones. Well, not all of them, but as many of them from all the different
Right,
albums.
right.
And put them on one album, and that'll be out next year in March.
Okay, have to look for that. How has your music changed since this guy?
We got a little better.
Got a little better?
Got a little better at what we do. I think, really, honestly, that's the bottom line. But we still do the same kind of stuff.
Okay.
We do a little more Western swing now than we did then.
Do you ever get tired and say, the heck with it all?
Yeah.
I guess that goes-
sometimes, but
You're still going.
It just never sinks in.
What would you do if you didn't do this? Yeah. Okay.
You got a job? I don't know.
We'll find you
I'd
something to do
have
around
your
here.
job, by
We'll
golly.
find
I'd
something
take-
to do around here.
I'd
if you
take
want.
over your show and have
Let's
me a
do it.
television show.
There you
Now,
go.
what would you do?
Maybe I'll learn how to play Western swing
you
music.
go.
I don't know. I have to learn more about Bob Wills, though. Was it easier to market Western swing music in the 30s and the 40s than it is today in the year 2000?
Well, it was just so different. I mean, it was very regional music. You know, it happened in Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas.
It wasn't a national
Not
sound
really.
back
Well,
in
it
the
went out,
days?
it went out to California.
Did
you
it?
know, when the Great Migration after the war. I mean,
Okay.
you know, a lot of the people from Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas moved to California, both before and after the Dust Bowl. So California was a big deal, but that was in the 40s. But it was just a different world. So it was very regional then, and also there wasn't television, there wasn't all that
No, but you had WSM broadcasting,
Right.
blaring around.
But
the country.
Nashville didn't play Bob Wills as much
no
as
kidding.
the Western people. It was west of the Mississippi.
WSM never played Bob Wills?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
play
they did
him,
play
but
him,
it wasn't a Staples. That was more
Okay.
Raya Cuffer,
Right.
Cuffer and his tub, etc.
Right.
You know,
I know.
I gotta
Before
get on
we run,
stage, you know, I'm
I'm
supposed to
gonna-
play a show for a lot of people.
What's your
waiting
website?
out there.
What's your website?
Website is so simple. Asleepatthewheel.com. One word. Asleepatthewheel.com. now.
Okay.
There you can find our schedule, merchandise, news about the band, and what else. We got
Let's
videos to play.
let's close out the show with another video.
Well,
We got 2 more here.
gosh,
3
we
more.
got a bunch more. Gosh, you got all of our videos. Well, I like Hot Rod Lincoln. Hot Rod Lincoln was a great one to tape. First of all, it was originally done by my good pal Charlie Ryan, who's 89 years
Is he?
about old about
God
now.
bless
He
him.
built the Hot Rod Lincoln, still has a Hot Rod Lincoln.
Did a real car?
It's a real car. I've ridden in it many times. It's a T-bucket Ford with a 12-cylinder V12
Okay.
motor.
Set it up.
So you can see why everybody thought it was a little bitty
Yeah.
thing. It had a Lincoln motor, 12 cylinders.
Oh.
Anyway, old Charlie Ryan wrote that. Commander Cody had a big hit on
Yep.
it in 1971. Johnny Bond had a big hit on it in 1961. And we did this video in 1986 at a very famous hamburger stand by the University of Texas called Thirties.